What's up, guys? Welcome to today's YouTube video. As you can see, I have a topic that I would like to discuss: overtraining or underresting. I would like to hear your guys' perspectives on what you guys think. Most people in the gym that you see on a given day, do you think they're overtraining, or do you think they're underresting or not as recovered as they should be? And I'm going to give you my perspective. You can take it with a grain of salt. I'm going to give you my perspective based off of my experience and my clients' experience and what I see most people are doing. So this is what I think. I feel like most people in the gym are just not recovering as efficiently as they could be, and they feel like they're overtrained because they're not recovering, if that makes sense. Because I think if you're recovering properly, you could train every muscle group up to 2 times a week. And also, if you're overtraining, because that's another thing too, you can actually overtrain if you're in the gym training the same muscle group for too long. Like if you're in the gym training chest for like an hour and a half, like it's going to take a while for you to recover from that session, just because you're pretty much depleting the muscle tissue and taxing it to its peak, which, you know, I think there's a time and place for it, but I don't think it's essential to do that all the time, because you want to build frequency, and I think that's the most optimal way of, you know, progressing. I personally like to train each muscle group up to 2, maybe 3 times, depending on the muscle group. Like I could do arms like maybe 3 times a week, legs, and, you know, I'm not training to complete failure because I'm not going to recover as efficiently. So I'll go to 80% of failure, and then I'll call the workout, and then I'll do the same exact session 2 or 3 days after that session that I just did. And I feel like I've made a tremendous amount of progress doing that. But I also think, you know, training to complete failure is also optimal too, because then you have an idea on how far you can really push yourself, and it can build up your mental strength, meaning like your willpower, like how hard you can really push yourself. And it's really fun, especially when you have training partners or training with someone else, so you can really push yourself. And those workouts, you typically go to failure. But I personally train by myself for the most part, and I like to pace the workout a specific way. And, you know, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think if you're a top level athlete and you think about like NFL players or like just professional athletes, they're getting the top of the line recovery. Like they're probably using a lot of ice baths, saunas. They're probably being monitored, and they're doing every measure possible to make sure they're recovered for the next training day. Because you got to think, you know, when they're playing or competing at the high level, like they're going to have to be at their given best. And if they're not really recovered from their training, their performance is just going to go down. So I think in terms of the gym, it's kind of like the same concept. Because like if you think about it, for example, if you can only bench or squat 225 or 135 for 10 reps, do you think it's the most optimal way to just go into the gym and do that for the workout, just max out and just go to complete failure, hit the 10 reps? Or do you think it'd be more efficient to do maybe like 5 reps every single day and then build up those 5 reps until you get to 10 reps? Because from that aspect, I feel like you're working on your form, you're doing the workouts more frequently, but then you're building the efficiency of actually nailing the form down. And then if you total up the reps, say you do 10 reps, go to complete failure, you're going to do that 2 times a week, that's 20 reps. If you do 5 reps every single day, you're getting 35 reps with the same amount of weight that you're doing. And I don't know, I think that's the most optimal way of training. I don't think you should really ever train to complete failure. I think, you know, you should to experience it, but then I think in the long term, it's not the most optimal, because you want to train to, you know, obviously progress. And, you know, there's no right or wrong answer. Everyone has different training styles. And, you know, if you're in terms of progress, I think this is the most efficient way, because some people love to train to failure just for the mental clarity of just really pushing it to that extreme, and people get a lot of satisfaction from doing that. And I do that sometimes too. You know, there's a time and place for everything. I like to just talk about the topic in multiple angles, and I think it's interesting. And for recovery, I try my best to do everything I can. You know, I'm using the sauna pretty much like almost every day. It's like routine now. And, you know, doing ice baths sometimes. It's been a while, but I feel like it's super beneficial for your body. And, you know, obviously I'm trying to supplement my program specifically to recover from my workout. So I'm doing EAAs, glutamine. I'm taking every measure possible to really make sure I'm recovering, because obviously if I'm training up to 2 times a day, which I've done in the past, like the way I would go about it is like I'll wake up, I'll train. During my workout, I'm drinking either like a carb powder mixed with EAAs and glutamine, and then say I go through that workout afterwards, I'll do like a protein shake, and then an hour after that I'll have a meal, then I'll do another meal, maybe 2 hours after that, then I'll take a nap for like maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, then I'll wake up, have a meal, train again, and then have like maybe two meals after that. And that would be my approach if I were to train 2 times in a given day. And I would still recover, because when I'm doing these workouts, like I said, I'm not going to complete failure. I'm just training more in the bodybuilding style way, more so just focusing on contracting and focusing on how I can really improve and implement my training to build my physique. And I feel like when I'm training in that way, I get the most out of it. But also, you know, I'm not doing that every single day. Maybe 2 or 3 times out of the week, if I feel like I'm recovered, I'll hit a double training session. Yeah, I think it's important to just try to trial things and play around with things and see how your body responds to it, because at the end of the day, you know, everybody has a different body type and everybody recovers differently, and you got to figure out what works best for you, and that comes down to trialing and trying things out. I think it's important to really get the experience to really train to complete failure, so you know what it's like. You can really get a lot out of it mentally, and that's just my take on things. When it comes to overtraining and under recovering, I think most people in the gym are under recovering, and I think if you're doing everything in the recovery aspect, you can recover from your workouts that you feel like you're not recovering from, because you're not just recovering. You know, you're not. I don't think you're really overtrained. I think it takes a lot to really overtrain. I think, like I said, you have to be in the gym for like an hour and a half to really overtrain your body. But that's pretty much my take on it. If you can drop a comment below, let me know what you guys think. I think it'd be really cool to see everyone's perspective on it, because I did a poll on Instagram and I got mixed reviews from it. That's why I made this video in the first place, and to give you guys my perspective, so you guys can kind of pick my brain a little bit and see where my head's at and how I perceive it. And you know, there's a time and place for everything. You know, I think you should overtrain at certain times, and especially like during competition prep, like where you have to turn it on. And you know, I think as an athlete, you have to have that switch where you turn things on and turn things off, and it's very instinctual. And you know, when you turn shit on, you just gotta be very on point, making sure you're nailing everything down to the T. You're not missing a beat, and I think that's how you're gonna optimize and really reach your goals. But then you also have to have that mindset of like, okay, like I feel like I've been preparing for this goal, I just reached it, let's pull back a little bit and just have more of a stable lifestyle where it's not to the extreme where I'm not really worried about doing cardio all the time, or just worried about my calorie intake. And I think it's important to have both sides to it. And me personally, after taking that year off from competing, I feel like I realized, like, you know, I was really overtraining myself physically and mentally at times, like from physical output, where I literally just outworked my body, and my body was just not really responding well. Even though all the recovery I was doing, I think it's, like I said, the CNS aspect, I think I was doing it for too long. So no matter how much recovery I was actually trying to get, like my CNS was just shot. Like I literally probably had to take like a week off from training to really recover. But that's another way you can overtrain if you're just doing it for too long. That's why people do deloads, which I think is very essential. I'm pretty much just going off on a tangent now, but I just think when you're training for a goal, you should have that instinct to turn it on and really commit, stay disciplined, and just get whatever it is needed to be done to reach your goal. But then I also think you should also have, you know, a balance between things. When I say balance, people might look at it the wrong way, like, oh, you shouldn't have balance if you're really trying to compete at the high level. Like balance, I mean, in a way where it's going to benefit you as an athlete. So for me, if I'm just going all out, switched on all the time, I feel like I'll burn out, and in the long run, I'm not going to be able to reach the set out goals that I want to reach, just because I'm not there mentally and physically. I wouldn't be able to do it because I'm just so beat up from the training. I think having a balance of where you can pull back, live life like a normal person. If you want to go out to eat, go out to eat. But me personally, I pretty much try to stay as calculated as I can. So if I were to go out and get sushi, I'm already thinking about like my workout and what I'm gonna do the following day or like the following 2 days. Like it's not like something I'm sitting here running down. It's just I've been competing and living and obviously training for such a long period of time now that I have to try to implement certain things to make it work within my lifestyle, because I'm not just gonna go and bring like a Tupperware of like chicken and rice and eat that at a restaurant when I'm getting food with my mom or someone that's visiting. You know, I'm gonna enjoy the food, but I'm gonna fit it in within my schedule. And sometimes I'll incorporate fasting, and there's multiple ways to go about it. But I just want to touch upon the topic. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up and like, and I definitely want to do more style videos like this where I can give you guys my perspective so you can kind of see like where my head's at, my perspective, and how I perceive things. And I think it would be interesting for you guys to learn from it. You know, whatever insight you can take, that's like my goal. So I hope you guys enjoy it.